welcome Gundam card game enthusiasts to round 4 of Tuesday's February 17th Gundam card game night over at Bulldog Community Gaming LLC in Brownsburg, Indiana. If you guys are looking for a place to play some hot Gundam card game action, check out Bulldog Community Gaming LLC in Brownsburg, Indiana. Tuesday night, 6:30, $5 entry. As well as you guys can come in to play that hot Gundam card game action, check the description below for Bulldog's Twitch and Facebook page where you guys can come watch the Gundam card game action live as it is happening. Again, Tuesday nights, 6:30. And we are on round 4 of the Cyber New Type Challenge. We should only potentially have one more round left. And I already know what the left side player is playing here because it's someone at my locals I played with. And I know for a fact they are on Justice blockers with the Providence Gundam. I don't know what the right side is on, and we see left is going second. So without further ado, let's jump into the game. All right, folks, here we go for the game. Let's see what we have on the right side. Blue-green. Okay, blue-green. What deck are we playing under blue-green? Anyways, we're going to start with the Overflowing Affection to draw 2, discard 1. This is the card I've been wanting to try to call a Show of Resolve for a couple of videos now. Anyways, we're going to pitch out the Aegis Gundam off of the Show of Resolve here. Again, that immediately tells us we're on a red-white strategy. Then we're going to go for a gun tank, and we're going to go for a 𝐒𝐍𝐶. So it looks like we're just on a rush strategy. It looks like we're just on blue-green rush. And we're going to play out a rift here just so that we can guard up our base here. So we can play for that long game. Again, rush decks like to win in the early to mid game. They do not like to play out in the late game here. So anyways, we're going to go for an unexpected incident. So that unforeseen incident. That way the 𝐒𝐍𝐶 just dies immediately and the Rift doesn't take any damage back. 1 damage. And we're going to go for a Rick Dom and a Zaku 2. I think we're playing 1 year war, folks. I think we have a 1 year war. We have the deck that dominated GDO 1 and GDO 2. 1 year war against Justice blockers. Okay, that's interesting to see someone still on 1 year war, even though the current best rush strategy is definitely purple-blue Barbados. As we're going to go for the base that allows you to, of course, tap itself to, of course, deal give one of your units an additional AP here. So I have to figure out what we want to do here because that Rick Dom is now very dangerous because of its ability to kill. So we're going to go kill over the gun tank here, dealing 1 damage to the Rift there. That does leave us up for the Rick Dom effect to come in and kill, but the Rick Dom's breach doesn't do a lot of damage anyways. And even if it did, that's not enough to actually kill off the base. It would be better just to swing the Rick Dom into the base with the Zaku 2. So yeah, it's very interesting to see Zeon aggro back again, or 1 year war, depending on how you want to call it. So anyways, we are going to go for the Rick Dom killing over the Rift, taking 2, and then that's going to trigger its effect, its breach effect, and we're going to go for the close combat there to kill the Zaku 2, so we only take the breach damage from that. So there's the breach, finally the breach damage coming down on 2 from the base from the Rick Dias. We're going to go for pay 1, we're going to go for the Corsica base. And then we're going to go get the 4-2 Toggies, and we're going to make sure to take the top card of our life into our hand, or are we going to see the right side now have an illegal game state? We're going to watch the right side now begin an illegal game state as well. I've now watched 2 players do illegal game stating when playing their bases. In my personal opinion, grab your life is your first thing to do. Anyways, we're going to go for a striker pack here. We finally do catch the Corsica base draw, so that's really good. Then we're going to go for the 4-2 striker, launcher strike Gundam on the right. On the left side, so there's nothing really to do, and it looks like the left side did burn their EX resource at some point. I didn't catch it when they burnt it, but both sides are now just on normal resourcing. I do like that they both have art sleeves based on their potentially their favorite here, as we have Setsuno with the 𝐒𝐍𝐶 on the left side, of course, the pilot from Gundam 00, and we have Machu on the right side with the 𝐒𝐶. So pretty cool. Oh, no. Ooh, maybe, I don't know if it's 1 year war as we see the Dynamis come down with the Zaku 2. So I still think it's 1 year war because it looks to be more 1 year war cards than anything else. The Dynamis is just a very good card overall, as we're going to go for, of course, an airstrike here, and then or we're going to equip that pilot to it. So yeah, we are going to equip an Atherin to it, immediately being able to bounce back the Toggies token, so we don't have to worry about that at all. So very, very interesting that the Dynamis is now down here. Very interesting to put the Dynamis in a 1 year war deck strategy, and I get it, but the problem is you need its link to really do anything. like the Dynamis really only wants to be linked to lock on to really do stuff. So it's a very strange. We're going to go for the 𝐒𝐍𝐿 2, swinging it into resources to each side to hit it here. Again, the 𝐒𝐍𝐿 2 on death. Let's look at the top 5 cards. Anyways, we are going to be able to kill it off with the improved techniques there. Immediately being able to remove it. So it looks like, unfortunately, the 𝐒𝐍𝐿 2, look at the top 3, add a Zeon unit to your hand, by the way. Not just a Zeon pilot, just a Zeon unit. Why can't it search the pilot is unbelievable to me, because you definitely want the Char to do things. So anyways, we're going to figure out what we want to do now. We're going to go for 𝐂𝐓𝐃 Gundam. We're going to go for a 𝐒𝐓𝐃 2 and then a 𝐒𝐓𝐃 2. Those are the 𝐒𝐓𝐃 2s from the starter deck that on attack get additional AP here. So they're just starting to go for the board state here, just trying to win in the mid game now, as we try to see what we can do here. Is we're going to go for the ZAF base here, and unfortunately doesn't have really any trigger to go with. And we're going to go for the Sword Strike with the Kira. That's pretty nice. We're going to kill the Korska base, bounce back a 𝐒𝐿 2 from that, and that's going to be just it. So it'll be very interesting to see here, because technically we can kill the ZAF base with the OG and the 𝐒𝐿 2, but we do have the L Strike still standing as well, and it does have 6 health points on it because of the Atherin. Again, I know a lot of people were playing L Strike with the pilot that pilots the Zeta Gundam, because he actually gives you +2 health points rather than the 1 health point that Kira gives you. So we'll have to kind of see what we want to do here now, because now we have the Sword Strike, which means that my opponent can just bounce back all the units that you play for the turn as they're swinging in over your sub, and then use the Kira effect to also then allow them to reduce the attack onto something here. We're going to go for swing up 3 damage. That's going to come in onto the base here. So my guess would be we're probably going to block the 𝐂𝐓𝐃 Gundam, just because there's no point in not blocking that one, so that way we don't lose the base on the 𝐂𝐓𝐃 Gundam play. We're going to go for another Dynamis. Again, do we have a lock on? No, we're going to go for the 𝐒𝐿 2 here, and that is about it. We're not even going to attempt to try to go for a game or try to knock out the base there, but I guess it makes sense. I mean, you know how we're going to knock out the base here. So we're going to go for the Justice Gundam, and then that's going to make the 𝐂 token here. Then we're going to swing over the 𝐒𝐿 1, bounce back to 𝐒𝐿 1, so then the Kira effect triggers, so we don't take any damage from the 𝐒𝐿 1, and we're just going to pass from that. So now the problem for the Rush style deck is they are now entering into the late game, and for a lot of Rush style decks, that's where they kill over. Rush really is only good against the early to mid-range game. Once you start hitting the tail end of mid-range and start hitting the late stage, that's where a lot of these Rush style decks burn out. Your hand gets burnt out, your opponents set up their board state, they have if you're in white, they have their blockers already going. So basically there's not much you can really do about it. Trying to figure out what our Rush player wants to do here is they're going to go for the 𝐒𝐿, and then we're going to go for another the 𝐒𝐿 1, that 𝐒𝐿 2 that's been bounced back multiple times already, doing nothing. And then the problem is that, yeah, they still have 5 shields up and running, but again, now they're entering the late game, and they're allowing a lot of things to go on for this here. The Justice Gundam still doesn't have the Atherin link here, so it can't just swing into one of my opponent's standing units. We're going to swing in, bounce a 𝐒𝐿 1, we're going to hit into a 𝐒𝐿, we're going to swing into the shields again, we're going to hit a gun tank here. I don't think we can risk taking any of our blockers off the board right now, or swinging them in unless we can put up a blocker to compensate for their loss. So we're going to go for the base here to allow us to get the extra AP here, tapping out the ZAF base, and we're going to go for a Rith as well. We're now just stabilizing a board state where we just have bodies on bodies on bodies to block out our opponent. And plenty of where the only body that actually dies to any one of our opponent's bodies is the 𝐂 token. So 𝐒𝐿 into base here, figuring out what we want to do here. We can potentially block with this will kill any one of our blockers, one of the 2 little blockers, but does die to the L Strike as well. We may just let the 4 damage into our base here, just considering that they may not have a link to try to go for game here, and then block out the remaining guys off of the board here, just so we can do that. Again, I'm kind of surprised that the 1-year war deck is playing Gundam Dynamis, because again, that really only feels like something you want to play if you had lock on in your hand, or you could constantly see lock on. So I don't know. Each his own, I guess. Each his own. But anyways, we're going to see the 𝐂 token not hit the block for the 𝐒𝐿 there, dealing 2 damage to the 𝐒𝐿 there. We still have 2 more blockers and a 5 health base, but unfortunately nothing in this board state actually can kill that base, and we could potentially even block the 𝐂𝐓𝐃 Gundam with the Rith. I believe if the 𝐂𝐓𝐃 Gundam attacks, you just need to hit it with the we're going to go for the L Strike onto a Dynamis, and we're just going to swing again. That's interesting. I would have wanted to wait, maybe if they went for the 𝐂𝐓𝐃 Gundam swing, and then block there, just so you can kill the 𝐂𝐓𝐃 Gundam in one shot instead of letting it repair here. So anyways, we're going to head with the Rift. The Rift's going to block the OG Papa Gundam. The other Dynamis is going to do 2 damage to the base there. And the Rift's going to take 3 damage. And again, the board state, I believe, is now going to go to the Justice side, because it looks like the Justice side is just getting a little out of hand here. We're going to go for Char Zaku 2. Do we have the Char Pilot? No, we're going to go for the Zaku 1 that's just been bounced back multiple times over. We're going to go for the Dynamis, and that looks like we're just going to melee go for that. And we're going to go Battle Bases onto the OG Papa Gundam there, melee removing that body off of the board state. I'm pretty sure this game is now pretty much over. We're going to go for an Overflowing Affection there, but they're only on 2 cards. No, they just drew 2. They still have a hand of cards here. They're going to get rid of the pilot for the Link pilot for, of course, the Providence Gundam there, because again, there's not really much of a purpose if you really don't have any reason to link or even pair with a pilot onto one of your units. And I think that's one reason some people have always questioned if the Gundam card game is good, is that linking effect or even the pairing effect. But again, each his own, I guess, in the end of the day, of your thoughts. So the big question is, do you swing all in and just go for a game, or do you play a little more cautious because of your opponent may potentially have a base here? As we do have the 𝐿-𝐔𝐾𝐒 and as well as a close combat we can utilize as well. So I have to figure out what we exactly want to do. We do have the 𝐿-𝐷, meaning we can bounce back the Char Zaku 2, or we can bounce back the Dynamis or anything like that, because we can already go, we're going to kill the Dynamis, give it the -2 with the Sword Strike, and then we'll be able to bounce back the Zaku 2 that's never been able to do anything. Bouncing Armor Array, dangerous, dangerous, dangerous. Anyways, we're going to go for the Rift, the swinging into shields. That's going to knock that one out. And then again, depending on whatever the top card of that deck, whatever top card of the shields are, if it's a base, it's pretty much over. So we're going to go close combat on the 𝐕𝐈𝐃, killing off the 𝐕𝐈𝐃 here. We're going to go for 4 here for the 𝐿-𝐷 out of the picture with the Kira attached to it, so we'll be able to bounce back something as well. So we can bounce back a Char Zaku 2. So it looks like we're going to bounce back the Dynamis there as well. So the big question is, I guess we're just going to pass from there, leaving the 2 𝐿-𝐷 standing. I guess that's a really good idea. I mean, potentially if it's a top card of the base is a shield, but that's a little weird in my thought process. It's like, what exactly is the top card? Unless there's one more shield I'm not seeing that's off screen right now. But to me, this feels like it could have been a game winner. Anyways, we're going to go for the Char Zaku 2 attaching to the Amuro. We're going to rest down the resting down their 𝐿-𝐷 that was placed in the board. We're going to kill off the base, for the kill off of the base here. No point in going for, of course, the block here. We do have, I believe, 1 more shield on the left side. 1 to 2 shields on the left side. I believe 1. And we're going to figure out what they want to do here. It just feels like this game state is now coming down to the end here as we just play all our hand out, and I guess nothing else to really do. It was a Corsica base. Wow, the top card there was a Corsica base, but it looks like we're just going to get a concedement from, of course, the right side player, as they clearly can see that all their bodies, the links to do anything. 2 of them can't even link to anything, and 1 of them doesn't even have its link. So, and it was a Corsica base as the last card of the base. Last card in shields, but again, at this point, it wouldn't have mattered even if that was the case. You could have done Sword Strike, hit it, and then that would have popped it. Sword Strike would have bounced something back, and then the Justice Gundam can kill it, and then Rift or the 𝐿-𝐷 can kill you off, or the other 𝐿-𝐷 can kill you off. So, yeah, that was a good one. That was a good game overall. We saw the Justice blockers with Providence able to take the win against 1 Year War. Everyone's still going to try to ride that deck out towards the end of its lifespan, even though I think Purple, Blue, Barbados Rush is really the way to play right now if you want a Rush-style deck. But nonetheless, guys, you can let me know your thoughts down in the comments on the gameplay, on the decks, and where you're coming. Do make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you know if my videos go live for you. I will see you next time. I'm Dragons TCG.